today I have Bailey Harris, and she's kind of like, a little young, but it doesn't matter. She's cool. Deal with it. So what I'm going to do is just talk to her about, okay, most people probably know who she is. They're here. But you've written now 3 books.
Yes.
Now you wrote the books with your dad.
Yes. So when I was 8 years old, I was watching Cosmos with Neil deGrasse Tyson, and he said the planets, the stars, we ourselves are all made of star stuff, and I was so excited. I was like, wait, really? So I went upstairs and to the computer and just started typing like all these things about evolution and things, and then my dad came upstairs and he was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm writing a book. And he was like, okay. And then we started drawing it out, and yeah, it was really fun.
So you had the idea for the book right then?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. So your dad was like, no, you got to be kidding me?
I don't know what his thoughts were, but yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. So now you got an artist. What's the name of your artist?
Well, we used to use this local girl named Natalie, who's our friend, and then she just got a little too expensive, and so we were like, we'll use a different person, but they're really good at artists. I don't even know the person's name, but...
Oh, no.
So...
Well, yeah, because the new person looks a lot like the other person. They obviously kept the same look to
yeah.
But
yeah.
Because the illustrations are really, really cool. So you're from Salt Lake City.
Salt Lake City, Utah, yeah.
Not one of the suburbs, actually, Salt Lake.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
because the whole thing about Salt Lake, for those who don't know, the city itself, it's kind of like Atlanta, right? So when you're down in Atlanta, you're safe. You got in the sticks, and that's when you hear about what people call them like compounds and all the weird stuff that happens there. So it's very much the same in Salt Lake, but it's still the Western version of the Bible Belt for Mormons. If you're not from the West area, but out there, Mormonism is actually more prominent than like Baptists. So Baptists here are a big deal, but they don't exist out there in the same amount. So it's more like Mormons are there.
Mm-hmm.
So when you started to do this, what was the reaction for like your friends and such?
Like, do you mean like when they found out that I was not religious? Oh, okay.
Or when you were starting to write the book, even, because I'm sure that happened first.
Well, yeah. Well, first, when I started writing the book, I was like, not most people know, because I normally don't talk about my book around my friends and stuff. Like, some of them don't even know that
that'd be like me. I'd be like, yo, look at my book.
yeah. Like, most of my friends don't even know that I have a book. Like, I don't even think.
Still?
Yeah, still. And so, that's fun. But if they did find out somehow, they would be like, hey, my mom told me that you have a book. Then I would be like, oh yeah, I've written 3. And then I just don't want to try to sound cocky. So I normally don't talk most about them. But
that wouldn't be me. I've written 1 book, and it was an IT book, and which means my book was outdated by the time it hit the shelf, because that's how it works with IT. So I failed in my mission to be a writer. You wrote a book about science, which is going to last for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So you were how old when you were 8 when that one?
Yes, when I started writing the book, but I'm pretty sure it was published around when I was like 11.
Because it takes that long to get a book published?
Oh, well, our artist took just a long time because it was watercolor, so it took her a long time to draw it, and she did a beautiful, beautiful job. And that's our first book, My Name is Stardust, and then our second and third ones are from a company that made them.
Oh, look at this. You can pull them up now.
So this is why it took so long, because it's all watercolor. So yeah, it took a long time. And then we also had to make sure, because some of the water blended in with the writing.
Okay.
So we had to make sure that it was the right color for each text. And then our second one, which is this one, which was like an animated more one, which was done by a company. And then this is fun. And then this one is also from a company as well. So, yeah.
Well, that book I wanted to talk about a little bit because that was the last book you did.
Yes.
Now that one is cool because it's really a book about evolution.
Yes, it is. It is, yeah.
Now, I've been doing this shtick for a long time, and I've explained evolution in very, very simple terms to people, and they still understand it. So you were what when you wrote that?
So my first one was when I was 8.
Yeah.
And we published it around when I was 11. And then this one was, I'm pretty sure, right after this one, so like when I was like 12. And then this one is this year, so.
Yeah, and you're 13 now?
And I'm 13 now.
All right, so you're already ahead the curve for about half of the people who are building our ark in Kansas.
Yeah, I went to the Ark Encounter and
Oh, did you
yeah.
Did you get pictures?
Oh, we took videos.
No, I have to see this. I have to see it.
So it's gonna be published on YouTube, and it's gonna be pretty funny because we went in there, and this is with Secular Student Alliance, which
cool.
I
Okay.
partner with, and have a community with, and it was so funny because we were doing a video on the 8 days that were somehow created the Earth.
What's the 8th day called?
I don't know.
There
but
should be a name
like,
for it. Yes?
Oh, it never meant 7 days.
Okay. I was
One
wondering.
extra than what I thought.
Look, they change the Bible so often that I don't know. It could have been, somebody
I
could add
know.
one in.
Well, we went in there and we were filming, and we're like, actually, it didn't take 7 days to create an Earth. It actually took about 4.8 billion years to create this whole Earth. And it's crazy because they were like, oh, it only took 7 days. This lady started freaking out and following us because we were talking about how on video with a microphone, I was so nervous. I was like, oh my gosh, people are going to be like, dude, you know. But luckily that didn't happen. It only happened once. And this lady just kept following us around because she heard me saying something about how the dinosaurs actually took a longer time and that they didn't all fit on the boat because there's more if we fit all of them on the boat, it would just collapse. But anyway.
I think there's like one that wouldn't even fit at all.
Yeah, you know. But then the lady got security, and the security came out to us, and the guy who owns Secular Student Alliance was like, oh, this is a school project, you know? And then they're like, oh, okay, and the security left, and I was just like,
Wow. I'll give them credit on that one because I thought it was going to go a different way.
Me too. I thought we were going to be kicked out. I was like,
I
run.
thought it would say, sorry, you don't have permission to film here. You can't talk about science.
Yeah.
Whatever. But yeah, that's kind of. I give them props for at least letting you to do it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So when you're not becoming, the new junior version of Carl Sagan, what do you do for fun?
I love listening to music. I love dogs, so I always hang out with my dog. And I actually love just like going out on hikes with my family, and I love being around my family and friends. That's just a main point in life that I love. And music is just a key for me. Like I've had many troubles ever since I was little with people always attacking me because I wasn't part of a religion. So going into my room and just listening to music was just like almost like just something to like cancel it out almost. So it felt really good to listen to music.
I can't think of many things that would be better to do that for, because a lot of people would do something far worse. But,
Yeah.
Yeah. So, music's not bad to drown yourself in.
Yeah.
So where do you find the inspiration for the other books? Because you said the first one was because you watched Cosmos with Neil deGrasse Tyson, who I've been trying to get to come to DragonCon because I've met him a few times. we're trying to get him here. I've been using Leanne Lord, who's one of my comedians, because she does Star Talk with him. So we're trying to get him that way. But I want him to come. So hopefully you'll be coming the same time he does, because that'd be kind of cool. You guys should do a thing together.
I would love that.
That'd be cool, wouldn't it? He's a great guy. But so where did you get the idea for the other books? I mean, the first one was because you got the spark in your head because you saw the thing about Stardust. And then did you just enjoy doing research to write the first one that made you think, I like to teach people about science?
Well, for my second one, which is this one, we were at New York at BookCon and Book Expo, and this girl, a few people, came up, and my dad was like, hey, we should ask them what their favorite planet was. And I was like, oh, that's a good idea. So I started asking them, and that most of them were just so passionate about us, just like about the planets, that they were just like, oh, I love this planet, oh, I love that planet, I love that planet. And it was Earth and Saturn that were like the biggest ones. And I was really surprised. I was like, why Earth? But, you know.
It's only the one we know of we can live on, so that's pretty important.
I was like, maybe Saturn.
All my stuff is here. That's why I like it.
Yeah, maybe that's why. Yeah.
But, so what convention was that?
New York Book Expo and BookCon.
But it sounded like you were at like some planetary expo, so all these people were crazy about planets.
I know, it was crazy, yeah.
Nuts. Now I have found it funny because that book was mainly about the planets.
Yeah.
And did you have because you wrote that book after Pluto wasn't a planet, because you even mentioned it.
I know. Now I'm mad because I was reading an article a few days ago that said that they might bring back Pluto because they found some stuff on it that might contribute to making it into a planet. And I was like, is it? I was like so happy. I was like, no.
That's why when we get Neil deGrasse Tyson here, you can ask him.
I know, I'll ask him.
Because he got blamed for actually kicking Pluto out of the planetary system. But yeah, I thought it was funny. It was like, oh look, she had no Pluto, because she's a true Neil deGrasse fan. No Pluto.
Yeah, no Pluto. Yeah.
So, what? You mentioned that like people keep wanting you to like do things like read the Book of Mormon, and now you did say that most people don't know you're an author.
Well, not a lot of people know that I'm an author.
But in your hometown.
But not a lot.
Not really.
No.
Have you done like weird like TV appearances?
Oh yeah, I've gone on Good Things Utah a few times.
Oh, there you go.
And I went on PBS Special, and that was really fun. So
some people near you know.
Yes. Yes. I just haven't noticed. So.
Yeah. That's a good level of fame. Nobody notices you, because it helps. You know, because you hear about those people, they have to like lock down their house, and your dad probably doesn't want to have to get a bigger dog.
Well, I mean, we have two, but like one of them acts like she's really aggressive, but she's just super fat. So.
Yep. It's very easy to put a dog on a diet. They don't have thumbs.
Well, my other one just has a thyroid problem, so it's kind of hard. We have to give her pills. But our other one is good, and she's super skinny, but she just is kind of too active sometimes. She'll wake me up at 6 o'clock in the morning.
I'm up at 5 o'clock in the morning every day.
Well, that's fun.
It's because I grew up in Vegas. It never went away.
Oh.
So what was the hardest part of writing the book? Because you had all these ideas, and then I'm sure your dad probably helped you like create a outline, but what was the hardest part about doing any of this?
Probably worried. I was so worried that people were going to figure out. I don't know why, because I was I was living down in the suburban area, and with all these Mormons, I thought they were going to figure out. I was like, oh my gosh, if they came over by me and knew that I wrote a book, that was probably the thing I was most worried about. But besides that, I was really excited about it.
Well, they won't have a problem with the planet one because, according to them, they're all going to get one.
Yeah.
So now they know which ones to choose.
Yeah.
That was terrible. I shouldn't have said that. Oh, so are you working on any new like books or projects?
I am working on a board game right now with
Oh.
this awesome female atheist, and she's super cool. And we're making a board game out of it, and it's Evolution. And I'm so excited because I love the game. She already has a game that's just like it. And then we're making just a replica with the Stardust characters, and I can't wait.
Oh, very cool.
And I love her game already before, so.
So that means when that one's done, you have to then get a booth here at the vending hall and sell your game.
I know I
And
should.
then get the people to feature it and have people play it.
I know that would be so fun.
What was the timeline of that coming out?
I don't know.
You don't know.
Yeah.
So what's the thing you're most looking forward to see at DragonCon?
I really like the costumes. Some of them are a little to the extreme. Not like
Welcome to DragonCon.
not like saying that some people's are bad or something, but some of the women and men's costumes show a little too much, you know?
Oh, no. You should have been at DragonCon about 5 years ago when they started to clean that up a little bit. Maybe he's been at DragonCon way in the past. Yeah, so it used to be a little dicey, but it's a lot better now.
Yeah.
So, but you don't have an outfit.
I actually do. I'm going to be Daphne from Scooby-Doo.
Oh, cool.
So
that one's going to come out. So you're going to be in the parade?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Your dad going to be in the parade with you?
Yes.
Is
And
your
my
whole family?
Yes.
So you have siblings.
Yes, I have my one brother's at home watching the dogs.
Oh.
So
How did he lose that game?
he doesn't really like these types of things. I guess he's skeptical, but he wanted to go after like a day before. He was like, "Can I go?" And
Oh,
we
you
were
want to go?
like, oh.
Crunch time, then he wants to go.
Yeah, but
You're like, no, you have to go feed the dog.
yeah, he's a high schooler, so it kind of makes sense.
And so and he's probably watching this right now, isn't he?
I don't know.
So what's your family been thinking about this whole DragonCon thing?
Like their thoughts on it.
Yeah, what have they been telling you?
My one sister is enjoying it a lot. She loves things like this, and she's actually wearing her costume right now.
Oh.
She was like, "I'm gonna wear it."
No, of course, that's DragonCon.
So, yeah. And then my brother, he likes it. He doesn't talk to me that much. I don't think we get along.
This is why most of the people in your life don't know about you writing a book. Your brother doesn't even want to talk to you.
Yeah, he's really nice, but me and him can fight sometimes. So.
Oh well, that's what you do, right?
Yeah.
I was the only child, and most of my friends weren't. And I always say I was happy to be an only child. My mom and dad were like, "Don't you miss having?" No. No. My wife has brothers and sisters. It's like she talks about all that. It's like, no, I'm glad. That was just me. I'm good.
Yeah.
So after we shut this down, you guys are going to be out there just past the elevators, right to the left of them. There's a meet and greet table, and then you are going to be able to sell your book, and you can get a signature and maybe a picture with you, ask more questions. But right now, we have lots of time. So all of you can line up and ask as many questions as you want. Let's do it. Oh, nobody's getting up. Okay. You know.
Hello.
It was nice sharing a panel with you this morning.
I know, that was great.
So do you have any suggestions or thoughts about how we teach science and how to perhaps educate more young people your age, your peers, your colleagues, about science and critical thinking and these subjects that you're writing about?
I think as an atheist, that people need to understand science more and stop pressuring their children into a religion that they don't want to be put in, because then I've noticed throughout my cousins and all my people that I know is that when they're pressured into something and not being able to just do what they want, and just put in a household where they're not allowed to do things as much, it's really hard for them, I can tell. And I think we need to learn that people should have a choice, and putting science and religion, you can put religion into it, I guess, but putting science into it really is an interesting thing, because by putting it in a children's book, it helps children understand science, and helping children in this process really, like, just giving them a skeptical view helps. So.
And there's very few books like these.
Yeah.
They're actually, as short as they are, they tackle some pretty advanced stuff, which I found surprising how you did. It was great. Uh-oh, the guy who is in charge of everything in my track, even though I am, but he's really the guy in charge. My AV guy, Mark Disler.
As you know, I'm in title in charge of everything, but nobody listens to me. Anyway, Bailey, when you wrote or started writing your first book, did you have a motivation to convince others along your way of thinking, or was it just a matter of, I need to get all this stuff down in writing for some reason?
I wasn't in any pressure, but I mean, like, I was 8, so it was kind of like annoying. I feel like most 8-year-olds are, in a way. But like sometimes they're like, when I was little, I was like, oh, I want to get this done, but at the same time, I really wanted to let children know, because children should know that we are made out of stardust and these science things, and science is really important to understand. So, yeah.
How did you know a lot of children didn't already know that?
I think because I lived in such a non-diverse place that it was like, I need other people to know, because living in such a non-diverse place into a really diverse place is so different than living in just a one thing. So like, wanting children to know this was like a big priority for me, and yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bailey, you mentioned you like music. I'm curious to know what kind of music you like.
I love listening. I actually listen to a lot of different varieties of music. My favorite right now is Billie Eilish. I don't know if anyone else likes her, but she just has very like amazing music. Like it just like, it's like a calming, but like brings in your life with you. So like it's like a mix of music. I also love listening to punk rock and rock music. So that's definitely the type of music.
Do you play an instrument?
No, I don't. I used to play the piano, and then that didn't work out very well. So.
Well, maybe you can write some songs in the future.
Yeah, hopefully.
Hello, thank you for being here. Our daughter is growing up in the South, so if a different group of the same thing that you dealt with having to grow up. Do you have any stories or advice that would potentially help her when people find out that she's not religious and she's discriminated against or ostracized for that?
I would suggest to you is don't give up, because when I was little, I really was having a really hard time with these religious people putting stuff into me, trying to pound me down. You know, it was a really hard experience for me. But the thing is, when people say, you know, do you believe, or why don't you read the book? Why don't you believe in Jesus? What you say is, you don't try to hurt their feelings. You got to make sure that you're nice to them, and you're like, well, I'm very skeptical about that. Like, I don't believe in that, but, you know, like, I just honestly don't try to be pressured by them. Like, being pressured is the worst way to get over something. And honestly, also music is really soothing for me. I don't know if it is for you, but that's a really good way to get through things. So.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That, you know what that's your Utah Mormon people, because they're the nicest people in the world. If ever like I've met Mormons are just so nice. So that's where that comes from.
Definitely.
Hi, Bailey. Congratulations on your accomplishments.
Thank you.
You know, as you can see, I'm a slightly older generation, and we really look to you folks your age for, you know, handing the torch to the future. I wonder if you have a particular area of science that you're interested in and that you might pursue.
Oh my gosh, I love astronomy so much. I read so many things on it. I like get the chills whenever I read it. Like learning that there's other galaxies and learning that there's planets that might be able to be habitable. It just makes my heart so happy listening to these things. And I think that's what I might pursue when I'm older, but I don't know at this point. But yeah. Yeah.
That's it. Nobody else? Going once. Oh, here we go. It's like it's an auction. Time auction.
Hey, so I grew up in the South. I've been an atheist for about 16 years, but whenever I was a child, there was a lot of pressure, and it's been really inspiring for me now as, you know, almost 40 years old to see this younger generation who really is embracing skepticism and atheism. My cousin, when she was 8, she read, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the name of it. Brief History of the Universe.
Stephen Hawking.
Yes, she read that one. Brief
Yeah.
History of Time, that's it. She started reading that, and she came out as an atheist once again in the South at that age. So you are just such an inspiration. Your generation really is. So I would like to know, you know, coming from these two different, very religious areas, you mentioned that your friends don't know that you're an author, a science book author, but how have you been able to like bridge that conversation when it does come up that you're non-religious? What does that conversation look like?
Well, it depends sometimes. Sometimes when I'm talking with them, it can be hard to talk with them because sometimes they're religious, and they don't like my books. They'll sometimes be like, and I'll be like, okay. But when it does come up, I normally say to them, like, hey, I have 3 books. I bring up the when I was 8 years old conversation because I've memorized that one. And
When I was 8, I wrote books.
yeah. I also bring up like that there are science books and that they're for children and sometimes older people. It depends on what you like, you know, if you like children's book when you're older. And yeah.
So Bailey, what kind of books do you like to read?
I love to read varieties of books. I love biographies about other people. I love learning about history. I love just learning how they made it through things, and it just kind of almost brings up memories from what happened with me. And that's also a way to get through things as well, as seeing that people made it through things even though that you're not going through as much as hard. You might be going through harder things than them, but I mean, like, you're reading through these things and you're like, oh, that kind of relates to it, or it kind of just helps in a way. Yeah, I really like that.
Tell us some of your heroes, people that you've read about who've overcome hardships and trauma.
So, Anne Frank really didn't survive, but she survived for a pretty long time. I really love Anne Frank's story. It's just really inspiring to me. I guess I really like, this is a nonfiction story, but Matilda, I don't know why, but I really love her story, like where she just has the power to do anything and she's female, and everyone's powering her down. They're like, oh, you're not able to do these things, but she is able to in the end, and she can prove it, and it's pretty awesome. I love her. Yeah.
Going once. Going twice. All right. So what's going to happen is you're going to go be at the table that's just past the elevators. To the left, you're going to sell some books. You can autograph some for people. They can take some pictures. Anybody can ask actual questions they were afraid to ask. I don't know what that would be, but maybe. And thank you so much for coming to DragonCon.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
You have
Yeah.
to come back again, and also come back, especially when you get your game, and hear it from Bailey.
Thank you.